Welcome back, babes. Thank you for being here. Thank you for visiting my channel. If you are new to my channel, my name is Anna and this is Ali Beauty. Go ahead and subscribe. I promise you that you won't regret it. Hit that notification button so that you do not miss a thing, and go ahead and like this video because I promise you that you will like it. Today I will be doing this look that was inspired by the KKW times Mario palette that came out. I love the looks that have been created with this palette. However, I will not be purchasing this palette and I will tell you why. One, I do not like the fact that KKW, Kim Kardashian West Cosmetics, does not allow you to return products. And the reason being is because it makes me feel like the creator is not sure of her product. When you are sure of your product, you go ahead and give your customers a chance to return the product if maybe they're allergic to it, things like that, you know. Maybe I could have purchased the product and I didn't know that I was allergic to a certain ingredient in the product, and when I used it, it just didn't work for me. And now guess what? I'm stuck with that product. So to me, that is a big downfall. I also will not be purchasing the product because there are so many palettes that I have which you can see that have similar colors. And yes, I understand that we want to have them all, but it's just, I find it to be a waste of money. It is quite pricey, and I have dupes for all the shades in that palette, so I find it really unnecessary for me to purchase the product. If you want to go ahead and buy it, go ahead and do so. The colors are beautiful from what I've seen. I obviously haven't swatched it in person, so I can't say anything about the swatches, but from what I've seen, the looks that have been created are beautiful. So if you are like me and you want dupes on that palette, I have some for you. Now, it is an array of palettes because not all the palettes have the exact same colors. I will go ahead and give those to you. So the main focus in that palette is that blue shade. Now, I have four different palettes actually, but three palettes that have a blue shade that is very similar to that one, and you can get those looks without breaking the bank. So the first palette that I have, well, it's a newer palette that I got, but it's the cheaper of the bunch, would be the Take Me Back to Brazil palette. Now this palette is full of bright colors, and within this palette you have a beautiful array of blue shades. Now this shade right here specifically, this one is very similar to that blue shade from the Kim Kardashian palette. The next palette would be the Huda Beauty Electric Obsessions palette. This one retails for $27. The Take Me Back to Brazil palette retails for $16. So it's really inexpensive. So I'm going from cheapest to most expensive. This shade right here, this is a beautiful cobalt blue as well, and it's a shimmer shade just like the Kim Kardashian shade. And lastly, we have the Jaclyn Hill palette. This one retails for $38. And guess what? Beautiful blue shade right here. This is a nice cobalt blue, and it's very similar to that shade in the Kim Kardashian palette. And not only that, but you have the same kinds of warm nudes that you have in that Kim Kardashian palette. So your best bet to recreate those looks from that palette would be getting the Jaclyn Hill palette. This one offers a lot more colors and you can create so many more looks. Not only that, but I feel like the Kim Kardashian palette is a dupe for the Kylie palette that came out a while ago with that blue shade that was the center and was the focus of the palette. And it's just like, it's not really original anymore. Like, I feel like when that palette came out and when this palette came out, that little corner of colors right there was the main reason why I got this palette. So for another palette to come out with a blue like that, it's just not, it doesn't call my attention anymore. And by no means am I trashing on Kim Kardashian. She is a great businesswoman. She knows what she is doing. If you don't have any of these palettes and you want to go ahead and get that palette, do it. You will love it. Everything that I've seen, people have loved that palette. But if you want something that will be around the price but you will get more for your buck, I really suggest going for the Jaclyn Hill palette. It's an overall palette and you've got so many looks that you can create with that palette. So yeah, those are my thoughts on that palette, and that's why I was really playing around with colors. As soon as I saw the palette, I was like, I have shades that I can use to create that look. So that's why I decided to do that for you, because you know that I like to be bad and bougie but on a budget. So If you want to be bad bougie on a budget, go ahead and keep watching this video and you can learn how I did this look. Okay, so I did my eyebrows and I primed my eyes off camera, and I'm putting you in close this time because I was analyzing my videos and I realized that I was kind of far whenever I would do my eyeshadow tutorials, and I really want you to see what I'm doing. I want you to be up close and personal and you get to look at my face and really enjoyed the video. All right, so like I said, I already primed my eyes and I'm going to go in with the orangey shades. So to start with the orangey transition shade, I'll be using a mixture of 3 palettes, which will be the Anastasia Soft Glam palette, the Modern Renaissance palette, and I'll be using the Morphe 3502 palettes. These palettes are notorious for their warm colors. So these 2 palettes right here have like really nice orangey shades and I love them. And that's what I will be using as that transition for the blue. So starting off, I'll go in with Orange Soda from the Soft Glam palette, and I'll just use a nice fluffy brush and I just dipped my nail into a shade and that pisses me off. So I'll just be using a nice fluffy brush and I'll be putting that onto my brow bone. Next, I'm going to take a crease brush and I'm going to go into that color Regular. This is from the Modern Renaissance palette. And I'll just add that right below that color that I applied in between the crease and the brow bone. And then next, I'm going to take the middle shade in the second row. So 1, 2, 3, middle, 1, 2, 3, that's the middle shade. This orange middle shade in the second row with another fluffy brush. Actually, I'll be using the same brush that I used to apply Orange Soda. I'll just dip that in there and give it a nice wash of a brighter orange just to make it pop a little bit more. Now that our brow bones are nice and orange and fiery, I'm going to try to bring that color down just a little bit so that it can work as a transition from the lid into the crease. And now I'm just going to bring that color down a little bit onto the lid so that the blue can transition from blue to orange from the lid into the crease into the brow bone. Okay, so now that we have that nice bright orange on our lids, it's looking really nice and blended. I'm going to take some concealer and I'm just going to pop that and blend that lightly on the lids. I don't want to saturate my lids with the concealer because then there's going to be a harsh contrast between the blue and the orange, and what we're trying to do is make it fade a little bit. So just pop some concealer onto my lid and I'm taking a Real Techniques concealer brush and blending that out. And don't worry if it's looking like a cut crease, as long as you didn't saturate it too much, it's fine. We're going to go back and add more of that transition shade in the center and you'll be good. So for this, I have recently started not setting my primer just because I feel like that the color payoff is better. And this tip was actually given to me by a friend. Her name is Henna. Shout out to Henna because you have saved my shadows. My boyfriend actually gave me a couple palettes for our anniversary, and I had really wanted the Take Me Back to Brazil palette, and even though it's an affordable palette, this is something that I really wanted, and I knew that there was going to be some cons with the shadows and the shades and the color payoff, and I was about to return the palette, and I was talking to my friend Hannah on Instagram and she told me to not set my concealer, not set my primer, and I tried it and wow, I literally had, on one eye I had set the primer, and while I was doing my makeup I was talking to her and I tried it on the other eye and big difference, big difference. So when you're working with neons and when you're working with bright colors, I suggest not to set your primer and you'll see a big difference. So I'm going to go in with this blue right here, and I'm just going to use a flat shader brush. This is the Sephora Pro shader brush, and I'm going to start at the lash line and then work my way up. So now that we've applied that color, I'm just going to go in with a clean fluffy brush and kind of blend in the seam in between that blue and the orange. I like to blend as I go just because it's easier that way and it doesn't get messy. So you see this blue is really nice. In person, I feel like it looks more like a periwinkle type blue. It's not necessarily a cobalt, but then that's why we're going to go in with the Jaclyn Hill palette and put that nice blue on top. So now going in with that really nice blue from the Jaclyn Hill palette, taking that same shader brush that we used for that blue, I'm going to dip in there and start applying that onto my lid. So now that we've applied one coat of that shadow dry, I'm going to go ahead and apply it wet just to add more of a pop. So I'm going to use my Tony Moly setting spray and just give it a little spritz. So clearly you can see that like this look is so bright and so vibrant, and it's really nice. It's different. So now we're going to take that crease brush that we used to go into that orange middle shade right here, and we're going to go ahead and clean up that seam in between the blue and the oranges. So now that we've cleaned up the edges a little bit, I'm going to go back into that blue shade from the Jaclyn Hill palette with a clean fluffy brush and do the same thing in that same space. So we're going to be adding orange, blue to make that nice little seam. And now one final time with that orange, but this time I'll be going in with my flat top brush from Sigma. And this is just going to help me apply the color on the brow bone without getting too far into the crease. And then if you'd like, you could just go back and touch up little areas. And voila, you've got your main part of the look. These looks are not hard. It's just knowing your colors, knowing how to play with your colors, and knowing how to match your colors. So you see, the look is very simple to achieve. Very simple. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and wipe off the fallout that I have on my face because that blue shade did leave some fallout. Okay, so now that I wiped off all that fallout, I'm going to go ahead and finish the rest of my face off camera, and I will be back to finish the rest of my eyes. I still have to do the bottom lash and apply eyeliner and all that good stuff. So I will be back.
2 hours later.
Okay, so now that I have my base on, I'm just going to go ahead and finish my under eyes. And I will be going in with a black liner. I'm going to tight line, and then I'm still deciding what to do on my bottom line. I know I want to add more blue, but I don't know if I want to add that orange or just the blue with maybe some black, kind of darken it up a little bit. I'll decide while I tight line and waterline. So I've decided I'm going to go in with the dark and the blue, with like a black and blue, just to make it very smoky. So I'm going to bring my eyeliner down just a little bit, and then I'm going to blend that out. And I'm going to use a smudge brush for that. Okay, so now that I've smoked out that bottom lash line, I'm going to go back in with that blue from the Jaclyn Hill palette, and I'm going to bring that into the bottom of the black. Now since that black was rubbed off the waterline, I'm just going to go back into my waterline and add some more. Okay, so that is it for the eye look. I'm going to go ahead and apply my lashes and liner off camera, and I will be right back. So now that I'm done with the main eye look, I'm going to go ahead and apply lashes, liner, blush, lipstick off camera, and I will be right back. It's really nice and bright, and this is something perfect for nighttime, for an event. This is something that will definitely catch people's those eyes. Your eyes will be the center of attention. As you saw, this is super easy to recreate, so I'm really excited to see if you all can recreate this look. And if you do decide to recreate this look, go ahead and tag me, and I promise you that that will make my day. If you have any questions on any of the products that I use, you can go ahead and leave those down below. If you haven't subscribed, I really don't know what you're waiting for. Go ahead and smash that subscribe button, smash the notification button, and while you're at it, go ahead and hit that like button because I know that you like this. So that is it for this glam bomb look. That is it for today, and I will see you all next time. Bye.